Well, folks, tomorrow night we're going to see more Destin drama. And I made a pretty popular post online on Twitter and the Facebook group and Instagram and the YouTube community tab. I know I did something. Whenever the cast, whenever the cast retweet my post, it's one thing when they like my post, but when they retweet it, that's like a sign like, yep, I did something right. I did something right. Because I talked about how that Danny is like the queen of deflecting and just refusing to acknowledge when she's done wrong, but she takes no caution when trying to call out another person on their BS, on their BS. And I was saying in my post, like, I wonder and look, this isn't me trying to, poke the bear, so to speak. We are all free to have our opinions, but I know that I had the quote unquote unpopular opinion that Danny was kind of foul for the way she did, at Jordan's place. Now, I put up a poll in the community tab. I said, do you think Danny was doing too much at Jordan's house? Basically, do you think she was right for exposing Gary the way that she did? For some reason, a number of comments said, Jeremy, actually, you asked us two different questions. Not really, because remember, do you think she was right for exposing Gary the way that she did? The way I said the way that she did encompasses the first question. Do you think Danny was doing too much? And 75% said yes, and only 25% said no, which is honestly quite shocking because within the first 30 minutes, the no's were like at 40%. And yes, was a little, well, actually, no. I forgot the exact percentages, forgive me. But I know that the no's heavily outweighed the yeses. Now, my biggest thing was those people who said Danny didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't matter about her own personal life. Gary needed to be exposed because Andy wasn't going to do it. I want those same people to keep that same energy, but towards Danny in this week's episode when she doesn't want to address the elephant in the room, which is the way she's dogging out Preston. Because here's my thing, and I know this is how things are going to play out. Preston could make the right. Remember, we only got what's this, episode 20, right? I think this is episode 20. So we got 21, 22. Let me check the calendar. Yeah. We got 2 episodes left of the season after this week. Preston, I don't think, is in season 7. If Preston decides to just pack his stuff up and leave, Danny's going to say what she always said. See, there you go. Preston, always running. And it's like, if this man does the right thing for himself, that ain't running. It's called, quote unquote, what do all these like the Tia Mowrys and all these other women who, they get these like celebrity divorces. And if we don't know what happens behind, let me just disclaimer here. We don't know what happens behind closed doors in these relationships and whatnot. So some of these women might have more quote unquote valid reasons to leave their husband than someone else, whether it be like, one, a cheating, abuse. But then some women, it's like, it just doesn't seem like the man did anything wrong. Maybe they say they outgrew their husband or, self-love and all this other stuff. Basically, they just up and leave and everything's cool. When the women do it, it's all good. Just like in this show, when the women do it, yeah, you're right, that man is trash. Like, you know what, he did nothing for you and you deserve a lot better, yada, yada, yada. But when a man decides, I need to do what's right for me because I'm not appreciated, I'm neglected emotionally, and it's clear that she's messing around with some other dude. So I'm going to pack my stuff and I'm just going to leave. And they're looked down upon for that. Basically, Danny is going to completely ignore all the reasons that Preston has to actually get up and leave and just say, see, you're running like you always do. This woman is giving off every red flag known to man. And anyone with a shred of common sense and decency would feel that I need to get the hell up out of here right now, because based on the promo, we know how it's going to go down. She's going to get home late after coming back from Karen's place, which, happened after her date with Tony. Now, I bet you that, if she could, if she had the money, she would just get a hotel or something as opposed to going home. Can you imagine that? Avoiding home at all costs, because if I remember correctly, she didn't even want to go home to change for that date and opted to wear one of Sabrina's and, her words, Danny's words, like, wonderful outfits and shoes and whatnot, even though, because again, I said that would be hella awkward to go back home to change clothes for a date while trying to avoid conversation with your boyfriend. Wow. So yeah, Preston clearly wants to talk about, what's going on between them. Danny gives him attitude and then just goes to sleep. And then, the next morning he wakes up first and Danny's all like, well, I got 2 hours before I go to bed. I got 2 hours before I need to go to work. And it's like, Preston is going, you know what it is? Every time Danny gets an attitude, it's because Preston is asking the right questions. He's asking the right questions because he's going to, say good morning. Preston, I don't have work for another 2 hours. But in Preston's eyes, well, yesterday you were in a rush to get out here 2 hours early. Yeah, so you can see that guy from work. So you're just taking your time this morning. But I feel like it's probably because, all the drinking and smoking she did the night before. That's probably why she's chilling in bed. And then he's going to ask the question of that guy from work. Are you sleeping with him? And then we see the blank expression on Danny's face. And we know she is going to go all the way off on him. And keep in mind, has she slept with Tony? No. Not yet, anyway. However, when you look at it from Preston's perspective, that is a very reasonable question. Remember, if this was Andy, she would feel like she's being attacked, oh, you're slut shaming me. You think I'm a whore, when it's like, actually, you kind of are. But, then she's going to get all mad. That's exactly what happened with her and Robin. Now, Rodeo has, been on this bull enough times to know that whenever Danny's behavior shifts towards him, it's usually because she is feeling smothered or restless in their situationship, or it's because she's banging some other dude. El Fuego, Q, Logan, Jonah. Her and Logan never had sex, but I'm just listing off people because there's quite the list of people she's done the nasty with. And it's crazy to me how whenever Preston makes a good point, Danny's going to reach all the way back to remember when you used to come over here unannounced? She will pull up all this irrelevant crap and try to throw it in Preston's face just to avoid discussing her own negative transactions that are currently relevant, not Preston's, quote unquote faults from like 3 or 4 seasons ago. And for a fact, because he asked this reasonable question, Danny is going to paint him as the bad guy. She'll go to work and talk to maybe Tony about it. And then when she gets on the phone with her girl, she'll probably be like, oh, Preston gave me attitude this morning. Can you believe this guy? He accused me. I'm not even going to say ask because, Danny's going to blow up the story the way she wants it told. He's going to accuse me of sleeping with Tony. And then Sabrina's like, what? No, we were just over there and then, talking to him and we're having dinner before, things went south. Why would he say something like that? Sabrina, shut up. Like, here I am going off on Sabrina. I don't even know what this is. No, this is exactly how the conversation's going to go. And nobody's going to address, well, remember your hot girl summer, Danny? Nobody's going to say shit. Nobody's going to say anything. Preston is the bad guy. Preston's the one, because he was making sense of the situation, he's public enemy number one. Just like these girls are alike. These girls are like, whenever their main guy pisses them off, that means they're going to go after the side dude even harder. Like, because we see her and Tony chopping it up outside in the parking lot. Man, Preston, he deserves way better than Danny and the situation that they're currently in. Like I said, I want these people to keep the same energy. Like the way y'all were cheering Danny when exposing Gary, I want y'all to go off on her for treating Rodeo the way that she is. For real. Keep that same fucking energy. I want to see it, because I'll be looking at, I bet it's going to be crickets on Twitter tomorrow night. I know it is, because y'all don't want to, face the facts. Face the facts. Whether it be a couple seasons ago where I was calling out Fatima, over the past few seasons calling out Karen. Yep, but you're a man, you're biased. Y'all don't remember when I would call out Zach for stuff? Heck, I did that in Zatima season 2. Like, why did Zach go over to Deja's place like 3 times in the same night? But y'all don't want to remember that. Hey, just like the sisters, a lot of y'all pick and choose what I call out. It's like, oh no, yeah, you calling out my girl. You ought not do that. Well, don't you remember when I called out the guys? I don't know. It's whatever. But yeah, I think it's going to be complete bull crap that Danny is going to tell the girls, and maybe even Tony, her own narrative regarding the fight that her and Preston are going to have, the argument they're going to have. And it's just crazy to me. Now, another point, I might do just a quick separate video on this, but I do not recall if Preston is still engaged. I honestly don't remember. I know on Twitter some people are like, no, Jeremy, the girl, she's still at the hotel. I could have sworn that Preston told Danny that Mindy was going back to Texas. Now, it was never disclosed if she gave back the ring, if the engagement was called off, but I think it's just one of those off-screen things we're meant to kind of make a conclusion towards for ourselves, because based on Danny's reaction earlier in the season when she first met Mindy about how Preston said, Mindy's going to go back to the hotel and then I'm going to come over to your place to talk to you later, Danny. And Danny called out how awkward this entire like, this is some white stuff, because ain't no way if I had a fiance, I would be cool with him going to another woman's home to talk. I don't think Danny would have suggested they start a relationship if he was still engaged. I do feel like that engagement was probably called off. That's what I think. Because a lot of people are like, man, Jeremy, you crazy. You talking about, Danny and Tony, yet, Preston has a whole fiance at a hotel. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not engaged anymore. Now, that doesn't mean Mindy isn't in Texas waiting for Preston, but I don't think they're engaged anymore. I could be wrong. If I am, hey, my bad. Let me know in the comments. If you can tell me like the episode number and the scene, I will go back and check it out. But I do not think that Preston is still engaged right now. So that's all I have for this video. It's kind of funny because whenever Danny says that Preston is running, it's no. I mean, even when he quote unquote does run, he has every reason to. I'll never forgive. You're a grown man. I shouldn't have to tell you how to love. Just no. And it's like, well, Danny, this man literally was begging you to teach me how to love you. And I'm not going to sing the song, Music Soul Child. But then it's like you give him every reason to just get up and walk away. But when it comes to, like, let's say Zach talking to Fatima about you always running, it's a very valid, reason why he says that. But nobody wants to have that conversation. Okay, well, hey, catch y'all in tomorrow night's new episode. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later.